Okay? So learning objectives. So photography. So we will talk about what is photography. Camera. So when we talk about camera, this is both video camera and photographic camera. So analog versus digital type of format. Resolution and depth. The best practices when it comes to digital imaging or the process of manipulating images, tapos stages of digitalizing image or yung stages na production when it comes to digital imaging. Okay? So let us start. So number one, so photography. Photography is the science, art, and practice of creating durable images by recording light or other electromagnetic radiation, either electronically or by an image sensor or chemically by light-sensitive materials such as photographic film. So when we talk about digital imaging, hindi sakop ng digital imaging yung sinasabi nating chemical. Okay? Kasi long time ago na wala pang what you call this electronic device to capture images, ang gamit po natin is somewhat gumagamit tayo ng film. Okay? Siguro iba sa inyo na experience nakahawak ng traditional camera wherein merong rolyo ng film na nilalagay, kinakarga dun sa camera. Tapos, mag-flash yun ng light tapos i-expose yung film dun sa i-expose yung film dun sa lens. Tapos yung light na yon itatama dun sa film capturing the image. Okay? Sensitive kasi yung mga film na yan sa light. So therefore, pag tinamaan sila ng light, nagbabago sila ng composition. Okay? Tapos dinadala natin yan sa isang dark room to develop those films. But now, in our modern days, gumagamit na tayo ng sensors. So to record those lights. Okay? So yung sensor na yon, nare-receive niya yung light, nagre-reflect mula dun sa lens camera papunta dun sa mula dun sa aperture papasok sa lens, then after pumasok siya sa lens, nare-record na siya ng sensor, converting it to digital information to be stored sa mga memory cards, mga flash drive, USB drive, or sa internal memory ng digital camera. So when we talk about digital camera, automatic, digital images na yung pinoproduce niya. Okay? Unlike yung dating traditional camera, kailangan pa nating i-process yung film para makita natin yung image. Okay? So magkakaroon ng transition from analog to digital. Okay? So yun yung machine or yung device na ginagamit para maka-capture ng image. So that's camera. So we take those things for granted because every mobile phones nowadays have their own built-in camera. So yung camera sa cellphone natin, digital type po siya. May sensor po siya, may camera lens siya. Then it captures the image via light through a sensor. Okay? Let's continue. So photography comes from the Greek word photo, which means light, and graph, which means drawing. Together, they mean drawing with light. So laging light yung kinukuha natin. That's why yung dim light, yung wala masyadong liwanag or mahinang liwanag, hindi siya nakaka-capture ng image. Kaya nahihirapan tayo mag-capture ng image tuwing gabi, pag nasa madilim na lugar, because photography relies on light. So sasabihin niyo, sir, meron naman pong mga night mode. So when we talk about night mode, nagiging may light pa rin yun. Imposibleng walang light. So tinitignan niyo yung pinaka-hint ng light. Then yun yung ginagamit niya para makapture yung images. So nagiging sensitive siya sa light. Okay? Mas sensitive siya. Tumataas yung ISO niya. Okay? So first photograph was taken in France. Bakit France? France. France using a camera, yung traditional pa. 1861, first colored photograph. So again, yung old version pa yan. So let's talk about camera. It's a device that records images either as still photograph or as a moving images known as videos. So again, just like what we discussed last meeting, so there yung when we talk about videos or GIFs or motion pictures, it's just a set of static images put together on a time frame so that when we view things, it appears that it is moving, while in reality, it's just a set of static images shown in a given period of time. Kaya meron tayong frame per second. So ilang image yung kaya niyang ipakita sa loob ng isang segundo. So yun yung motion pictures. That's the illusion of motion pictures. Okay? The term camera came from the Latin word camera obscura, means dark chamber. Okay? So let us discuss. So this is an example of an camera. So this is a DSLR camera. So sa mga nakapag-experience na gumamit nito, so kindly bear with me, explain lang po natin yung mga parts ng camera. So the mode dial, yung little knob doon sa taas, pwede mo siyang, doon mo siya papalitan ng modes, kung sports ba siya, macro ba siya, or automatic, no flash, and so on. So the different modes. Okay? Yung shutter button. So when we talk about shutter button, yun yung kukuha na siya ng image para i-capture niya yung image na tinututukan nyo ng camera. Yun yung pang-capture. So when we talk about aperture, yun po yung opening. Opening through the lens for light to come in. So dun pumapasok yung light. Again, digital imaging relies on light to record those images. So pop-up flash, para lang po lumabas yung flash. Usually pag automatic yung digital camera, yung katulad ng DSLR, automatic siya. Pag tingin niya insufficient yung light sa environment, kusang bumubukas yung flash basta nasa mode dial mo na may automatic flash siya. Then the camera lens. So yung lens, dyan nagbabaris yung magnification or yung distance or yung range no kinukuhang image. So meron ka long range, meron kang macro, meron kang wide angle, iba-iba. So iba-iba yung lens, mas maraming types of photographic scenery kang makukuha. Depende sa type of lens na gamit mo. So various lens have various uses. So lens release, yung knob dun sa kanan, is para lang matanggal yung lens sa DSLR. So again, hindi ito generic na setup. So probably yung iba walang mode dial, nasa touchscreen yung pagpili ng settings. Kahit sa cellphone natin, mayroong mga ganon. Nasa settings natin yung mga mode, kung night mode ba, sports, etc. So it varies from one camera to another. So sa DSLR, meron tayong tinatawag na hot shoe. So yung hot shoe na yan, dyan natin ina-attach yung mga accessories ni camera. Pwedeng flash, ano pa pwede dyan? Overhead flash, yung static light, LED flash, yung basta more or less more on lighting yan. So automatic yan na-detect, yan yung nag-activate o nagpapas ng electricity from the so-called DSLR papunta doon sa hot shoe. Tapos si viewfinder, so yan yung eyepiece mo wherein dyan mo makikita, or pwedeng through the LCD screen, depende sa settings mo kung gusto mong gamitin yung eyepiece or yung LCD screen. So storage and battery, so dyan mo nilalagay yung micro SD mo. And battery, syempre, yung battery mo. Next, the white balance, yan lang po yung mga setup. Kung tataasan mo yung ISO, bababaan mo, depende sa mode ng settings na pinasukan mo, kung macro ba yan, or navbar yan, para sa mga menus or setup na gusto mo gamitin. Okay? So, ito po yung knob, yung mode knob. So, here are the most common settings. So, automatic, so auto. So, completely automatic photography. The camera analyzes the scene and tries to choose the setting that produce the best result. So, usually, yung default, kahit sa cellphone natin, usually, ang default settings is automatic. So, siya na yung nag-a-adjust ng shutter speed, siya na nag-a-adjust ng ISO, ng exposure, or ng blending. Depende, or pati yung flash, siya na yung automatic na nag-a-activate ng flash kung kailangan ng additional light para makapture yung image. Okay? So, next, auto without flash. So, ginagamit natin tong auto without flash usually pag nasa loob na cinema. Bawal pala mag-camera sa loob ng sinehan. So, for example, sa event wherein ayaw natin maka-distract ng audience using our flash, or sa mga, what you call this, sa mga wildlife wherein magugulat yung pinipicturan mo hayop. Kung gagamit ka ng flash, magugulat sila dun sa flash mo. So, gumagamit tayo ng auto flash off doon. Tapos bahala na ulit si camera kung anong gagamitin niyang mode. Next, portrait, designed to produce softly focused backgrounds for portraits. Okay? So, when we talk about portraits, usually, sa camera po natin, sa cellphone po natin, pag clinic niyo po yung isang image or yung screen niyo while shooting an image, magkakaroon po ng focus wherein meron kang focal point. So the focal point will be the center of attraction for the scenery. Then everything else will be parang hindi siya ma-highlight, ma-blur yung background. And ang makukuha lang is yung mismong focal point na gusto mo kunin. Usually ito ginagamit to sa mga family picture na may background, for example, ng scenery, na nature scenery or bahay or kung ano man. So ginagamit tong portrait na to. Landscape, designed to keep both near and far distance object. So usually yung landscape, ginagamit natin to pag gusto mo talaga i-capture as is, pati yung background gusto mo malinaw. For example, gusto mo capturing yung Taal Volcano na walang na-blur, kahit yung Taal Lake, gusto mo malinaw siya. So yun yung advantage ng landscape, wherein lahat, both near and far, kino-consider niya. Okay? Sports. When we talk about sports mode, dito na pumapasok yung shutter speed. So, ano ba yung shutter speed? So, when we talk about shutter speed, it's the property of the camera to close its aperture, then save the image or capture the light and send it to the sensor. So, mas mabilis yung shutter speed, much better. Siguro na-experience nyo yung time wherein you taking someone's picture or gumagawa kayo ng jump shot. For example, tatalon, tapos habang nasa ere, pipicturean niyo yung tao. Tapos, after looking in your cameras or your mobile phones, makikita niyo na naging blur yung mga moving objects. That's because yung shutter speed is insufficient for the so-called shot. So, kailangan mas mabilis yung shutter speed nyo in order to remove those blur images. Okay? So, mas mabilis yung shutter speed, much better. Yung mga high-speed camera, napakabilis ng mga shutter speed niyan. Kaya niya mag-shoot na 100,000 frames per second. Okay? So yun yung shutter speed na ginagamit natin when it comes to sports mode. Mas mabilis yung shutter speed niya. Close up, sa ibang camera, ang nakasulat dito ay macro. So when we talk about macro, it's just the magnification of the camera. Usually kasi ang camera has the magnification ratio of 1:5. Okay, 1:5, yun yung normal. Ngayon, in order for you to have a macro shot or a macro lens, it should have a magnification of 1:1. Ano ibig sabihin nun? So ang ibig sabihin nun, kung gaano kalaki mismo yung image, pag kinapture niya yung image, tapos in-store niya dun sa kanyang database or dun sa memory, pag clinat mo yon or sinave mo yon, kung ano yung actual size ng image, yun yung real size niya, yun yung may store na image. For example, kung nagpicture ka ng langgam, so kung gaano kalaki yung langgam, ganun talaga siya kalaki when it comes to printed copies or printed material. So 1:1, yun yung ratio para maging macro yung isang shot. Okay? Usually 1:5. Okay? Ngayon, when we talk about amplification or what you call this, magnification of an image, macro din yon. For example, 2:1. So magiging mas malaki yung langgam ng twice ng real size niya when it comes to the image. Usually, when we're using macro, ginagawa natin, nilalapit natin yung camera dun sa object or sa kung hype yun, din dun sa hype na yun, para makita natin or magawa natin yung macro shot. Otherwise, magiging blur lang yung image. Again, kasi ginagamit natin ng magnification or magnification ratio ng 1:1 or greater. Kaya kailangan natin siyang ilapit para makapture yung image. And lastly, night portrait. Again, nagiging sensitive siya sa light and binabagalan niya yung shutter speed para mas maraming light ang makapasok. That's why it's almost impossible na makakapture na jump shot when it comes to night mode. Okay? Since sobrang blur na siya, sobrang labo. Okay? So ISO. So sensitivity to light. When we talk about ISO, hindi ito yung ISO na organization na nagme-maintain ng standards. Ang ISO sa camera is the sensitivity to light. So the higher the ISO, mas sensitive siya sa light. So ginagamit natin tong ISO na to when we're talking about under or overexposure. So when we talk about overexposure to light, yun yung makikita natin na when yung pag nag-picture tayo, nag-selfie tayo, tapos sobrang puti natin na para bang ang kita na lang sa atin is yung buhok natin. Parang nag-blend na yung kilay natin dun sa noo natin. So overexposure yon, sobrang light, sobrang daming light yung pumapasok dun sa image. So ang gagawin natin pag in that situation is bababaan natin yung ISO. So para mabalance yung light na pumapasok sa aperture, then pag nag-capture siya, mag-blend siya. So important to sa mga professional photographer. This is actually a reason why yung pagkunwari sa mga pumunta na sa mga studio, meron silang practice shot. Okay, try natin, gano'n. Okay? Lalo na sa uncontrolled environment. So, for example, nasa labas kayo, nasa outside kayo ng isang building. So, maraming pwedeng movement. May pwedeng dumaan yung ulap, makover yung sunlight, medyo mag-dim, kailangan mo na namang i-adjust yung ISO level mo. What else? Magkaroon bigla ng moving object na ma-block yung some sort of light para eclipse example or some leaves, mababago yung setup natin. So kaya usually yung mga ganon, nagkakaroon tayo ng practice shot or tinatimingan ng cameraman yung tamang blend ng light para dun sa shot. Sa mga studio shot naman, usually fix yun. Meron silang light source, tapos nag-a-adjust na lang sila sa color of the skin tone, sa kulay ng damit. Siyempre, yung camera natin nag-a-adjust sa mga white or sa light materials where ina-detect niya yun as light source. So, binababaan niya yung ISO usually pag white yung background. That's why yun lang yung ina-adjust natin. Depende dun sa tones and dun sa background. Pero other than that, fix yung ISO ng mga photographer. Pero syempre, nagte-testing pa din sila. Kumukuha sila ng sample shot bago yung actual na taking of picture. Okay? So, ito po yung example of shutter speed. As you can see from the left side, meron siyang shutter speed na 1/5 of a second. Okay? Sa loob ng isang segundo, kaya niya mag-take na 5 picture. While on the other side, makikita niyo na every 6 seconds siya nagkakaroon na screen capture or naglo-close yung shutter. So, ang difference nila ay makikita mo na dito sa right side, merong part of the grass which is parang na-smudge sila. Nag-blur sila kasi yung grass, they are moving while the wind is blowing them to the left side. So, yun yung advantage ng meron kang mas mabilis na shutter speed rather than the so-called slower one. Okay? That's why, bakit sir yung ibang DSLR 30,000, yung iba 60,000, yung iba 100,000? Ito po kasi yung binibili natin. Okay? Bukod dun sa brand, syempre Nikon, Canon, bukod dun, kailangan natin i-consider yung mga yung mga modes nila, yung mga features nila. Okay? So, for example, when it comes to auto, ano ba yung auto na nadadagdag? When it comes to close-up, hanggang ilang macro ang kanyang i-capture? Hanggang 5:1 ba? Or 1:1 lang? Okay? So when it comes to shutter speed, 1/5 ba of a second? 1/10 of a second? Tapos, and many more. Sensitive ba siya sa light? And all those various things. That's why nagbabago ang price ng camera. Siyempre, iba yung sa GoPro since iba naman yung mga features nila na waterproof, shock resistance, iba naman yun dun sa mga DSLR. Kasi DSLR lang yun. Hindi mo naman pwedeng ilubog sa tubig yun. Unless mayroong waterproof na DSLR. Hindi ko pa alam kung may waterproof na DSLR. Pero more or less DSLR. Okay? Next. Macro. So when we talk about macro again, yun yung nagbabago yung magnification. Nagiging 1:1 siya. Kung ano yung actual size ng object, yun yung lumalabas doon sa portrait. So makikita mo ngayon in fine details yung mga parts right? Ito yung stigma nung bulaklak. Okay, yung mga pollens niya. Magagamit mo yung macro para sa mga zoom in images. So, mas mataas yung magnification, mas maganda yung macro shot na pwede mong i-produce. Okay? So, ginagamit usually ang mga macro sa mga ganyan, sa mga objects na gusto mo i-feature, yung mga tiny objects like insects, flowers, tiny details on a scale. For example, gusto mong makita yung texture ng isang material, hard ba siya, smooth. Kasi usually pag image, pinicturean mo yung upuan. Hindi mo alam kung smooth yung upuan or rough yung upuan. So gagamit ka ng macro lens para makita yung texture. Okay, in fine detail. So yun yung ginagamitan ng macro. Usually parang microscopic na nga siya in a way. Okay? So analog to digital. Images is converted to a series of pixels laid out of a grid. Each pixel has a specified color represented by a sequence in ones and zeros. Pixel-based images are called raster images or bitmaps. So bitmaps. Usually kasi, just like what I've discussed last week or last week, when we talk about digitalization or digital imaging, meron tayong tinatawag na pixel. Yun yung smallest point when it comes to images. Ang example natin last time is just like cross stitch. When you do cross stitching, meron siyang para mga set of holes wherein you put a string. So yun yung nagre-represent ng color, thus combining those different colors makes up a pattern that creates an image. So just like this one, hindi kasi kita siguro, zoom natin para makita nyo. Yan. So makikita nyo, in this image, meron siyang mga square. So each square has its own colors representing a part of a resolution. So yun yung individual pixel. Tapos each individual pixel is converted from the analog. So again, when we talk about digitalization, it's just a set of ones and zeros since our electronic device can only store ones and zeros. Then converted into hexadecimal for color modification or color reproduction para magkaroon siya ng kulay, kailangan combinations of ones and zero to create the image. Later on, we'll explain those combinations. Next, resolution. So often referred as DPI or PPI. So baka makakita kayo sa mga camera nyo, mayroon nakalagay na DPI or PPI. Ang ibig sabihin lang po nun ay that's per inch or pixel per inch. So yun yung pixel. Okay? Huwag kayong malito kasi tayo when we talk about images or nagdodrawing tayo sa Paint, nagdodrawing tayo sa Photoshop, meron tayong tinatawag na pixel. When we talk about photography, ang tawag nila doon DPI or PPI. Okay? So, spatial resolution refers the pixels in dimension or the image of an image. So, ito na po yung resolution natin na alam natin, resolution ng screen, ano yung size ng image, minsan 1600 by 900, 1920 by 1080. So ito yung high definition HD, 1080p. Okay, 1080 pixel. Usually yung ginagamit natin is yung latter part, yung nasa mas mababa. Yun yung nagiging basis natin. Kasi ang haba naman pag sinabing anong resolution ng ng image mo? 1920 by 1080. Ang ginagamit na lang nila para layman's term is yung mas mababa. 1080p yung yung monitor ko, yung screen resolution ng monitor ko. Okay? So 900 yung isa, 1080 yung isa, and so on and so forth. Okay? Next is bit depth. So when we talk about bit depth, ito na po yung shades. Dito na pumapasok yung usually colors. Dito natin pinapasok. Hanggang hexa siya or hanggang 8. Ay 16, hanggang 16 to. Pero yung nandito ay octa lang. So refers to numbers of bits devoted to storing color information about each pixel. So pag sinabi nating 1 bit depth, ang mangyayari nun is black and white. Okay? Black and white siya. 2 bits, meron na siyang 4 shades. 4 bits, 16 shades. 8 bits, 256 shades. So again, when we talk about bit depth, yun yung dami ng shades or combination of bits in an image for you to create this so-called clarity. Okay, kung gaano kaganda yung image. As we discussed last week about the color combination, hanggang 255 siya. Ito 256 kasi yung 0 kasama sa bilang. Okay, 0 to 255, yun yung combination ng numbers in order for you to create a color. Diba? 128 nga yung gitna. So let's talk about best practices. So whenever you're creating image, you must first determine the purpose. So bakit ka ba nagka-capture ng image? Gagawa ka ba ng banner? Lalagay mo ba sa blog mo? Gagawin mo bang profile picture mo? So kailangan i-determine natin yung purpose nung ginagawa natin para ma-reproduce natin yung minimum requirements when it comes to those materials. For example, kukuha ka ng profile picture mo. So alam mo na at least dapat yung resolution ng profile picture mo equal sa minimum standard when it comes to screen resolution. Sabihin natin, at least dapat 1080 yung resolution ng profile picture mo para hindi ka blurred dun sa Facebook. Usually naman, ang Facebook, pag nag-upload ka, inaano naman nila, what you call this, pinapaliit naman nila, sinishrink naman nila yung size. So, useless kung tataasan mo pa ng 1080, gagawin mo sa, for example, 4K na resolution, useless na kasi isi-shrink din naman ni Facebook sa 1080 para hindi masyadong malaki yung size ng image pag pumasok na sa databases nila. So, yun yung mga kailangan mong i-determine. So, kung kukuha ka ng 4K, sobrang laki naman para dun sa purpose. Ngayon, kung gagawa ka naman ng, for example, poster, or gagawa ka ng resume, kukuha ka ng picture para sa resume mo. Alam mo naman na 2x2 lang yung kailangan doon. Bakit ka naman kukuha ng sobrang laking resolution kung i-shrink mo naman siya ng 2x2 lang. Tapos i-crack mo pa ng hanggang shoulders mo lang, hanggang torso mo lang. So kailangan alam mo yung purpose ng image para alam mo yung gagamitin mo equipment or settings. Okay? Capture once, use many times. So, katulad po nung sa color point, yun yung kumukuha ng graduation picture natin. So, ang ginagawa po nila is take pictures of those students ng isang beses lang. Pinipicture nila isang beses. Tapos, from those raw materials, doon na nila ini-edit. For example, doon na nila nilalagay yung picture na may logo ng AMA. For example, congratulations, graduates of 2020. Doon na rin nila nilalagay yung, for example, gusto mo maglagay ng special message. Thank you to my parents and my family for supporting me. So, isang beses lang nila kinuha yung picture pero minodify nila. So, gumawa sila ng 2x2 copies, gumawa sila ng 1R, 4R, etc. using one image. Pero again, dinetermine nila kung ano yung kailangan nilang pinakamalaking resolution. For example, 1R, yung frame size or isang bond paper size. So, at least dapat yung resolution hindi mag-blurred sa ganong kalaking portrait. So, yun yung sinasabi natin, capture once, use many times. Kasi madaling i-downsize pero mahirap i-upsize yung isang image. Okay? Scan for the earliest generation. Ito namang scan for earliest generation, ginagamit to sa mga sa mga what you call this, mga tabloids, nagre-reuse ng mga images, yung wherein kinukuha ulit nila yung image, tapos ini-scan ulit nila using scanning device, tapos bago nila nire-reprocess. Kasi hard copy printed material siya. So, usually, kinukuha natin yung pinaka-raw form. Okay? Pag kunwari, wala ka ng way para i-recapture ng image or meron ka lang hard copy ng image, ini-scan natin yung latest iteration or yung oldest iteration na wala pang modification, wala pang text, hindi pa binago yung lighting, yung blending, hindi pa tinanggal yung mga tigyawat, etc. So, yun yung earliest generation. Yung pinaka-original, yun yung ini-scan natin. And lastly, have enough knowledge on the hardware you are using. Again, katulad nun, kung hindi natin alam yung mga mode dun sa DSLR natin, nagka-capture tayo ng image. For example, tumatakbong tao, pero naka-auto tayo. Ngayon, hindi ma-determine ng camera na kailangan niya pala ng mas mabilis na shutter speed kasi isang shot lang yun, tumaan lang yung for example yung tao. Hindi niya na-determine yung speed. Na-determine niya yung mga light, pero yung speed, medyo hirap siya when it comes to shutter speed. Okay? So, kailangan nating specifically iset siya sa sports. Dapat alam natin yung hardware na ginagamit natin. So, determining the resolution. The master file should be at the highest possible resolution without losing quality. Again, kailangan yung master file natin or yung original copy natin, pinakamaganda talaga is yung highest resolution. Image can be downsized depending on the needs or minimum standards of the user. So just what I mentioned earlier, na mas madaling i-downsize, paliitin yung image kesa i-stretch out nang hindi nawawalan ng quality when it comes to resolution. Pero again, consider your audience. Higher is not always better. Okay? For example, gumawa ka ng personal blog mo. Hindi ka nag-rely sa Twitter, Facebook, or some social media platforms. Wherein yung mga websites na yon may algorithm na wherein they downsize automatic na shrink or kinocompress yung image para ma-store dun sa kanilang platform. Yung website mo, wala siyang program, static lang siya. Kung ano yung in-upload mo, yun lang. Tapos, kumuha ka ng mga 4K images, 8K resolution. Meron ka camera, for example. Ngayon, yung mga bibisita sa website mo, kailangan nilang maghintay. Lalo na pag, kunwari, naka-data lang sila, tapos wala pa silang 4G, naka 1G lang sila o 2G. Hindi, mahihirapan silang i-load yung blog mo o yung website mo dahil yung images mo napakalaki. So, ang mangyayari, sa sobrang tagal na paglo-loading, hindi na nila waalis na sila doon sa website kasi ang tagal mag-load eh. Right? So, yun yung isang disadvantage. Kaya higher is not always better. So, po-consider natin kung sino ba talaga yung audience natin or saan natin gagamitin yung mga images na yon. Okay? Next. So, when we talk about digital imaging workflow, ito po yung tatlong phases. Okay? So, planning phase, production phase, post-production phase. Okay? Sa video and audio, 5 stages to. Pero sa digital imaging, 3 stages lang. Okay? So let's discuss. So in the planning phase, define the purpose of image project. So saan gagamitin? Again, paulit-ulit na si Sir Lee. So saan natin gagamitin? So, kailan natin i-shooting? Or any other properties that we need to consider. Define the master image specification. Gaano kalaki ba yung resolution? Ilang shots ba? etc. Select equipments. So, importante itong select equipments kasi, for example, magpo-photoshoot ka sa loob ng kuweba. Kailangan mo ba ng additional light source? Kailangan mo ba magdala ng extra batteries since sa loob ng kuweba walang outlet, hindi ka makakapag-charge or makakasaksak ng mga lights mo. So, yun yung mga dapat nating i-consider when it comes to planning phase. Ano yung mga dadalhin, ilang tao yung kailangan. Develop test procedure. So, para bang magkakaroon ka ng scenario wherein ano ba yung mga pwedeng mangyari, pwede bang umulan, kailangan ba ng payong, etc. So, yun yung mga test procedures wherein kailangan ba mag-practice shots muna kung kayang i-capture ng camera. Tapos yung, hindi ba, yung environment ba, paano ang gagawin? Pag kunwari mahamog, hindi makuha yung image. For example, nasa Baguio ka, determine metadata to be recorded. Again, kung lalabas ka sa field, mahirap i-reproduce or mahirap magkaroon ng second shooting. So, ano ba yung ilang shots ba yung kailangan mo? Ano ba yung mga requirements mo? Checklist. So, yun yung determined metadata to be recorded, yung mga master list na kailangan ma-produce. And documentation. Again, if you're not the only one that is in this project, so you need some documentation for others to understand what you did and what they should do. Okay? So para maka-coop up sila, makasunod sila dun sa plano. So yun lang naman yung planning stage. Production phase. So production phase, train employees in digitalization handling. Siyempre, hindi ka pwedeng kumuha ng tao na hindi naman marunong for example, Photoshop. Kailangan turuan mo pa sila. So, yan dito nagkakaroon ng production wherein yung staffing na i-involve na yung skill set ng mga people or talents nila. Ongoing digitization. So, dito na po ginagawa, ine-edit na yung mga nakuha sa planning phase or doon sa shooting or sa production. Ongoing quality review. So, chine-check na supervisor, etc. For example, ng producer or ng customer. Ongoing metadata creation. So dito sa ongoing quality review, metadata creation, usually pag na-approve na yung quality na considered na acceptable, doon na pumapasok sa metadata. So ibig sabihin, dumaan na to sa testing procedure, tapos ini-store na nila sa mga archives nila yung mga images to be pulled out later on for reproduction. Periodic equipment check and calibration. Siyempre, habang chine-check mo pa rin yung mga equipment mo kung okay, may naiwan ka bang lens dun sa kuweba, etc. Okay, next. Lastly, post-production phase. So, after na shooting, na-produce na yung desired materials or yung required materials, i-store mo na lahat ng nagawa mo. Kasama yung master images, lalagay mo na sa archives mo yon, lalagay mo ng date, etc. Create ka ng derivatives, review process for area of improvement. So when it comes to create derivatives, so bukod dun sa master images, nasa na ba yung mga nagawa mo, yung mga outputs mo, i-store mo rin sila. For example, ito yung para release, ganitong araw. Ito yung with banner, with logo, etc. So i-create mo rin yung mga derivatives na yun. Tapos i-archives mo din kasama yung master images in a different folder. Review process. So, nandito na pumapasok yung feedback, mag-uusap na kayo kung ano mga nagawa nyo, ano mga nagawang mali, para next time, much better yung production. So, any questions po? Sir, pwede po ba lagay dito? Ayan, nandiyan na yung email ko, mjrlay@amaes.edu.ph. Any concerns po regarding any digital imaging pwede nyo pong i-email dyan. Kung may concern rin po kayo na outside dyan, subukan ko, basta masasagot ko po, try ko po. Tapos i-forward na lang po sa departamentong concern. Okay? So again, my name is Mark Jason Arley. So thank you everyone for joining and have a nice day.